Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. So now it's time to start. So let's get straight into it. So welcome to our webinar, our Lean webinar today. As you can see, I'm here with our guest speaker as well. Before I get into the introduction, let me just give you some information about the webinar. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to use the Q&A. In the toolbar of the webinar, simply just type in your question and we'll get to it as soon as we can. We might answer it during the webinar or just at the end of it, but we will definitely answer your questions. And if we, by any chance, don't have time for that, we'll make sure that we get the answer to you later after the webinar. So that's the important instruction bit, and let's get to the webinar itself. So I would like to introduce myself. You might have already seen me on one of our previous webinars. Recently, we ran with actually our guest speaker. We ran also an Excel to Excellence webinar. But in case it's your first time with us here today, my name is Anna Ogunusi. I have been working in Easy Software for over 7 years, helping mainly manufacturing companies to sort out their project and task management. But today, it's not that about me, because I'm not the one with the know-how today. And that's why I have invited Barbara to come here with us. So Barbara has over 12 years of experience in manufacturing, but regarding our topic today, it's all about Lean, right? So she has Lean Six Sigma belt, black belt, she is Kata Master Coach, and she is TWI trained trainer. She currently works in Novanta, and today she'll be sharing with us about Lean methodology and what it means, why is it important, how to implement it, etc. So, without further ado, over to you, Barbara.
Good afternoon to everyone, and thanks for joining us. Thanks, Anna, for the introduction. So why we are here today? Because no one of us wants to be stuck back in the time where the change of the tires of Formula One took 22 seconds, right? Maybe back in the 80s it was great, but nowadays we need to be more agile and faster and leaner. So I'm sure that all of us wants to be on the right side, and we want to be in the team who is able to change the tires in 2 seconds. So that's why we are here today. And we want to talk about the transformation and about the leadership, that we need to all engage and commit to the Lean, and that Lean is not only about manufacturing, as it's mostly being mentioned, and we need to use it for solving all our problems, not only the manufacturing problems and the typical problems we have connected with Lean, but also the problems we have with our data analysis and reporting and sharing information and the information flow within the companies. And it's really, really important that we use the Lean to teach and coach and to catalyze the process, not only in our productions, but also in the information and the data flow.
So why would you say, Bar, if I may just jump in, why would you say that there is this big misconception that Lean is just for manufacturing?
Because Lean is always connected with Toyota and the Toyota production system, and Lean is always seen only as a tool, the tools to improve the production, to make it faster and more simple and better. And it's not seen as a culture. But Lean is really about the thinking and the culture and the leadership and the way of running the whole company, not only the shop floor. So usually when you start trying to use the tools or the Lean methodology within other areas of your company, not only the production, the first you will hear is, oh, it's not for us, we are not manufacturing. Or when you try to use it in medical or services, you will hear, oh, it's not for us, we are not automotive.
Yeah.
And this is
I think it also comes from the fact that, I think a lot of people also have actually a misconception or like the wrong idea about manufacturing, right? Because often when we say the word manufacturing, we automatically just think about the shop floor, about the workshop, but no one actually thinks about what happens before the product, before the manufacturing part starts, right? So I think that's also why that kind of happened.
And also manufacturing, you always think that there is some physical product at the end, but nowadays many companies are selling the services. So you don't have anything you can touch or you can show at the end, right? It's like some providing of the software or like providing of other things which you cannot touch. So you are providing something which you are still manufacturing. You still need the same process from the beginning until delivering to the customer, but you don't have a shop floor. You don't have a tools like typical tools, you know, like hardware and stuff like this. You have the softwares, you have the people, and you are still doing the development and the launching and the customization, but you do it in the background in the services. And I would say that nowadays the companies which are growing the fastest are the companies which are providing the services.
Yeah, that's true, because it's easy, right? You don't have to worry about the shop floor itself.
So, and those companies are forgetting, because they are like the unicorns, they are forgetting that sooner or later they need to get to be lean and to become like even better and to like go forward, step forward in their standards if they have any. Because that's another thing, that if you have a company which is providing services and it's a startup, it's growing so rapidly that it's just growing without setting up the standards and the base, and then it's very difficult or almost impossible to start like improving because you have nowhere to start.
Can you think of any industry where we could actually say that lean is not suitable for?
I don't know, because I have been applying it like really almost anywhere, from hospitals to supermarkets to call center to like armory factories to food companies. Now I'm in medtech. Before I was in typical automotive. I was in information services. So I cannot imagine a place where you cannot apply it, because you apply it even at home and you don't realize. Yeah, there are so many tools you are using without realizing it. So it's something natural. You just don't call it the names. But I always say it's common sense. It's things you need to do and you do them naturally many times. And there is always the possibility or the opportunity to improve using the lean. But that's also about being the specialist to know when to use which tool. You cannot force all the tools everywhere. So being the green belt or black belt gives you the set of the tools, of the skills and the knowledge. And it's up to you as a facilitator to choose the right tool for the right situation or the opportunity to improve.
Okay, so if we kind of then forget about the industries, is there a particular company size where the lean probably should not be applied, and at the same time, is there a size when like you would think that lean is like a must?
I think it's must everywhere, because lean is about setting up standards. And if you don't have standards, you cannot measure. If you cannot measure, how you are going to improve? So I would say it can go from small family business in tens of people to thousands, but of course, then it's about how you will improve and how you will apply the lean. You cannot go like big bang and like suddenly change everything for thousands of people across a corporate. You always need to start with a small sample size, some pilots, and like verifying that the improvements are working before you introduce them as the new standard. So it's just about a different approach, but it's really suitable for anyone.
Okay, great. I think that's good for the intro, just to make it clear who we are talking to here, and if you are in the right place right now.
Because even if you come home with your groceries or the groceries are being delivered, first thing you will do, you will pull the old things which are already in the fridge to the front, and you will put the new supplies to the back. And that's already FIFO. It's the first in, first out.
That's the lean principle,
or the 5S. So even the mom at home sorting the groceries, she's using lean and she doesn't know about it.
Okay, well, that's good. All right. Thank you for clarifying that. Let's move on.
Yeah, so what is the lean? So I love this one. And this is my motto in my LinkedIn profile as well, because lean says double the good, half the bad, and you already have the improvement. And the most important thing, always go in the process end to end. Don't improve just on the spot where you see the opportunity or the challenge. I don't like to call it a problem. So I'm using the Toyota way, the opportunity or challenge to improve, but always look what is before you in the process and taking consideration, you might have impact on that part as well. And always look what is after you in the process, because there is no improvement if you just move your challenge into the next step. So that's why we say double the good, half the bad, but end to end, really take in consideration the whole process.
So the big picture.
On the right side, you see the Toyota house, which is like the great description. And as you can see at the bottom, you have the people, because all the improvements, all the changes you are doing, anything new you are including in your system, always include the people. First off, they have the great knowledge and experience of your processes. They already know what is working, what is not working, and what could be the challenge and what could be the solution. So always include the people, because they always know the most. And then you need to have the stability, the standard, to be able to grow. So the stability comes from the base tools, which is the value stream mapping, the 8S, the visual management, the supermarket, standardized work, the production management, and the Heijunka. So those are like the basics. We are all talking about quality and just in time and the Kaizens and like the big things, which you can see in the 3 pillars. But if you just jump to the 3 pillars, which is the speed, the quality, and the continuous improvement, and you don't have the stability, you will not succeed, because you will build without a base, and you cannot build a house without a base. So it's always important to set up the people, include the people, then work on the stability, describe your processes, set up the standards, and then you can go up and start building the pillars and improving. But what you want to improve if you don't have the stability and the standard? And then if you have all of that, you can just try to reach out for the operational excellence, which is like what everyone wants to achieve. And of course, we are all trying to achieve the customer satisfaction. That's like what we all want. We want our customer to be happy, to receive what they want, when they want, in the quality they want it, for the price we agreed, and just in the time. So that's all we are trying to reach. And this is like the biggest challenge, the operational excellence and the customer satisfaction. So this is the main point, the main achievement you can get with the lean, and all the things you are doing in your day-to-day work using the tools should be really trying to achieve this: satisfy customer and the operational excellence. Yeah, and this is why we are here today. So the lean meets AI, and there is a new era, and this is the era I already described earlier. So it's not only about our processes on the shop floor and some work which is visible, but it's also about the based identification in the processes which are considering the data and the information flow, and using the data we already have really well in the real time to do the root cause analysis and to speed up the improvement processes, to speed up finding what is the root cause and how it can be fixed. And thanks to that, then we can really well use the automation, the digitalization, and the AI. So we can really improve much faster if we have the right data in the right time, in the right hands. And then thanks to the AI, we can do the predictive maintenance, we can set up the factory, the machines, and everything much better. So this is why we are here today, to really start using the lean and the data we already all have to be really smarter and faster, and as we all like to call it, agile.
Yeah, that's true. I think often what I sometimes hear from companies is like, oh, we don't have the data for this, but they actually do have the data. They just don't know how to kind of crunch it up to have some kind of outcome. They actually usually have way too much data, but it's about getting the outcomes that they can actually work with.
You know, the data, they have them, but they don't know it because they cannot see them, because they all are using just the Excel, which is like the way we use Excel nowadays is absolutely totally different than to what Excel was made to be used. And they are not clever. They are not thinking. They just set up Excels, they set up macros. Someone runs the macro, downloads the Excel, sends it by email. Then they have a meeting looking at the Excel. And it's just such a waste. And the biggest waste nowadays is the waste of your human potential. You hire people. People nowadays are very expensive. It's one of your biggest costs is the people you are hiring and the people you have in your company. And you waste the time of the skills and the experience and the knowledge of the people downloading data, putting data into Excel and making tables, making pivots, making like charts. And this is the biggest waste because nowadays any software can do that for you. AI can run this, even Copilot can do this for you. So why would you have your people doing this manually? And why would you rely on something being done manually when you can have already software which is using the data in real time, sharing the data with the real time, and everyone can be looking at the right data at the same time, and you have the traceability of how you get the data, who was working with the data, who approved the report. Because this is really important as well. In all the businesses, you have some requirements for the safety, especially if you are working with the customer data. You have requirements like SOX audits, FDA audits, the ISOs. And as soon as you are downloading something and you are putting it into Excel, where is the traceability? You cannot prove how did you get the data, how they were altered. You don't have any change management. But if you have a clever software which is doing all this for you, and you can say it's all automatic and I have timestamps, who downloaded when and to whom and how it was worked with further, then you are complying with all these audits I just mentioned. So it's another advantage, like to kill Excel, because every time I hear I was visiting one company last week and they said, we have digital daily management. And I was like, wow, cool, daily management, the big tools, for the Kaizen and for lean and for like focusing on your KPIs. And then I asked the big question, how is it working? And they said, well, we upload there the Excel. I was like, okay, so it's not digital. It's just the visualization of your Excel. Yeah, but it looks nice. And I was like, okay, cool. But still
pretty.
Work,
It has colors.
Yeah, so even
that actually makes me
nowadays,
think of two things in like coming back to the slide. So would you say that like lean is very important? Because I think a lot of companies now, they're implementing some kind of AI, whether that's like AI for content creation, AI bots, AI agents. Would you say that lean is so important to be like the preparation in
of course, it's
for
like
the
that's
AI?
the first thing when you are going not even to AI, but let's say stupid SAP or any ERP system or MES system, the manufacturing execution systems, first thing you need to do is to clean your data.
Yeah.
Like the worst thing you can do is just to digitalize everything, because we don't know what we have and we don't know what we might need. Let's just move everything there just in case.
Yeah.
But the just in case is in hours and hours of extra work of someone trying to sort the data, understand what the hell they are looking at, so they can move it to the SAP and have the structure there. So the first thing you will start is the master data cleans. And you are basically doing the 8 waste reduction. You are doing the 5S, and it's all the basic lean tools.
We'll get to those. We have a slide for those.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So, all right, let's get to another slide, because I think we are mentioning quite a few things that we have in the slides. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, another important thing is the Kaizen. We all heard about Kaizens, and basically Kaizen is like the speed up when you really need the improvements now. And what is great about Kaizen is that you are using only the tools you have already available. So Kaizen is really important and effective tool to get like big improvements in a short period of time. And it's great kickoff for a longer projects, because you can like accelerate, you can kick off, you have all the focus on it, you have some big results in a short time, And then you have the sustainment period when you can just move even further and you can set up the new standards and you can agree on the continuing of the things you have achieved during the Kaizen.
So what's the connection between Lean and Kaizen?
Kaizen is one of the tools. I think we have it on another slide as well.
Yeah, further.
Yeah, so we will go
Okay,
in
we'll
that
get
as
back to
well.
it, since I already clicked the slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
And
get
another important thing is the team collaboration. Like, don't try to achieve anything alone, as I said before. And a good leader will always reach his goals through the people. Always include the people in the projects, in the solutions, always ask for their opinion, always include them into the troubleshooting, in the root cause analysis. And as you can see here, if you can do it digitally in a real time and you can have everything like nicely organized and visible and shared without the necessity of Excels and emails, even better.
Yeah, I think what I find in like managing people and like involving people, I think it's also very important. Like another thing that needs to be like digitalized and available to everyone is the skills that people have, because I think sometimes it happens that it's just the direct manager who is aware of the skills, where the strengths are, you know, where the weaknesses are, where they specialize, you know, especially with developers, you have the different sets of skills that they have. So I think that's another thing that people sometimes don't realize, that it's another thing that can be digitized and can be visible to everyone. Like this person specializes in this, so he should be on this project, while someone else should be another project.
And it's also really important when you are planning the resources, because sometimes, you know, people know just about the one person and then it's the go-to person. And then suddenly you have him like 360% and the other people are like on zero, just idling around waiting. So the skill metrics is really important to see also the empowerment and like the development of the people who you should train. Then also have a clear metrics when someone is not available, who is the person who is able to cover. And then also, as you mentioned, how we can really utilize all the skills and the knowledge of the people. So many times you have people who have lots of education and we don't even know about it, and we are using around 30%. Or on the other hand, we have people who are really good and they are developing and we don't keep them going further because we don't put a note there like, hey, work with this person. He has the potential, he's eager to learn, and let's develop him and let's use all his skills.
Yeah, that's true. It just becomes like a word of mouth, isn't it, rather than actually keeping a track of it. And then someone, you know, like leaves the company, then that kind of precious knowledge is usually either goes with them or is lost in OneNote or somewhere. So yeah.
Yeah, and this is another nice quote which I like. So if you focus on the numbers, as Anna said, the people will leave. But if you will focus on the team and you will develop with the team, the numbers will come. So always achieve the things through the people and with the people, and always have the team like part. And it's also during the lean transformation and any change management, it's important to have the people to feel the ownership. If you include them in the improvements and in the changes, they will feel part of it. If you make them seen and heard, and you will show that you appreciate their experience and that they will have a say in the change, they will accept the change much smoother than if you just come and it will fall top down, like from today we do it this way. Yeah. Because that's why many lean things fail, or people say we try to implement lean but it didn't work in our company because they pushed it. It was just suddenly a rule, everyone has to do it like this, and no one asked, how would you like to do it? How it would work better for you? You know, the tools are not like law. The tools are there, but the tools are there for the people. Lean is here to help the people, to make the work easier, faster, like make their life easier so they can really focus just on doing the task we are expecting from them, having 100% conditions for doing the job we are expecting from them. So if we include them and we let them have the say and have a word in the change and be part of the change, Then you basically have the cheerleaders for the change, and they will spread the word, and they will say, oh, hey, join the next project, tell your opinion, go to the Kaizen. And for me, it's like the best part of the Kaizen is when we have there the operators, and they are telling you, this doesn't make sense. Move this here. We are walking too far, or we are waiting for this. And it's just small things. It doesn't cost you anything. And you make the change about the thing she complains about, and you can see how much they appreciate you suddenly. You gain that relationship, and you are getting huge knowledge from them, which you will never gain otherwise, because you are not spending the time on the workplace. You don't do the report every day. You are not waiting for someone to send you the information so you can print it and you can go to the, I don't know, for example, the distribution center to start collecting the orders so you can ship them on time. You are not there. You see the process on the paper, but the process on the paper is one thing, the standard is another thing, and then the reality is totally different. So always include the people and always ask them. And the digitalization, that's a huge relief for them. If they don't have to look for numbers, if they don't have to download reports, like many times they will tell you, I come to work at 6, I start running the macro, I go to have my breakfast, I make my coffee, and when I come back, I have the numbers, and then I start making the reports. And you're like, so what time does you send out the reports? And you're like, well, if the macro runs well and it finishes, I can send it out 8:39, which is good because the people have it before the meetings. If the macro crashes, and you're like, oh my God, no, really,
Yeah, I think all this just comes back to the very important thing which you mentioned at the beginning, that lean is about leadership, because that's what leadership is, right? Empowering the people in your team. It's not just about coming with rules and, like you said, this is the rule right now. This is what you're going to do. And they don't understand the why. I think it's always about the why, like for them to be able to adopt it. But if they are involved in the process, which then shows that the person above them is a lead, really the definition of leader is about involving them. Yeah, so really important.
No, and it's also the change nowadays. You need to shift from the management and the micromanagement, like telling people what to do, to being a leader. So empowering the people and like delegating the tasks and just trusting that you hire the right people with the skills you need and just letting them do their job. And digitalization is a great tool for that as well, because you can track what the people are working on and how they are processing with the tasks without asking them and having meetings or emails like, how is it going?
Yeah.
Do you have any updates? Have you moved further?
Yeah, without them feeling micromanaged. You can still get the overview.
But you still have the ownership, and you still have the overview, and you know what is happening.
Yeah, it's really important.
So we can move. Yeah, so stability, as I said, you can improve only a stable process. So we have the 5S, which is the basics, which is the sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. But nowadays, we are also adding the 6th one, which is the safety, 7th, which is systematic. So we are in the data again, and the synchronization, which is the 8th S. So this is the first and most important tool of the stability. You need to sort your mess. You need to sort the data. You cannot digitalize data. You have no idea why they are there. Why would you digitalize something which has been in the system for 10 years? People always say they are running reports. I'm like, what will happen if you don't run it? Try to not send it for 3 days. Is anyone coming back? Is anyone really reading the Excel? Does people still care about the information you're sending? So really sort the data. Set up like, when is the most aged data we will keep? Can we get rid of the others? And be careful there. I always say that the best improvement is elimination, but regarding data, always look for the law. Because in some companies, in some fields, you have like law enforcement on how long you need to keep your data records, especially the one regarding personal, the HR stuff. And another one is the traceability records if you are manufacturing something. So when you have to prove when it was, built and how it was built and stuff like that. So there you might have some law enforcements on how long you have to track these, but the rest of it, you can just sort it internally. So how far in the history we will go and how old data we will transfer. Then how we will set them. you know, which will be the different like boxes. So we will have the sales, we will have the procurement, we will have the IT, we will have the production, the R&D, blah, blah, blah. How we will organize the data. Then how we can make it even nicer, easier, you know, to get like organized and to know like what is the orientation in the data. There's the shine. So we will make something really good, really easy, really well structured. And when everyone, every owner of the data is happy with it, we will say, okay, now freeze. This is the standard. This is how we will now make the documentation, how we will describe. This is how our data will be looking. These are the rules, how we will work with the data. And these are the data we really want to move as a master data to our new digital solution. Then we will try the most difficult part, which is the sustain. Because it's nice, everyone knows when you make the nice big clean in your house and you just shine everything and you organize everything, then the kids come back and 3 days later, it looks like there was an eruption or a drop of a bomb, right? So you need to make sure in the sustain that the standard you set up is sustainable and it's really working for everyone. You really have everything you need. You haven't forgotten anything. And if you have, you need to go back and you need to keep further sorting and setting in order and shine. Like every spring when you are just throwing away the mess you don't need anymore, the small clothes, the small shoes, you cannot set up standard and just keep it for 5 years. You need to keep going. That's why we say continuous improvement, because you are never done, right? So it's the same with the data. And then, of course, we are looking for the safety, how we can protect the data. Are we compliant with the SOX audits, with the ISO requirements? Are we compliant with the customer requirements? And then the systems. Are the systems talking to each other? Do we have the right solutions? Because the worst case is you have one great software, one great ERP, and then you realize, oh, they are not talking to each other. So what we are doing? We will download Excel from the software, we will upload it to the ERP or the other way around. God, no, please. Look at the Power BIs, look at the MES systems, look at the connectors, how you can connect each other. So they are always talking and there is always the common ground. And that's back to making the standard, you know, best way you are organizing the data in one, the same way how it is working in the other. So the structures are the same. So there is really easy to make the connectors, make the data cubes, and then make some visualization. So the data just meet there and you don't need any further manual work.
So is this kind of like the steps that like when you go through digital transformation from Excel?
This is the first.
You start with this.
Say,
so like the sort, set in order, shine, standardize, that's what you do. And then you kind of put
because, you know, during this process, this is the aha moment for a company, because many companies will say, we want to go digital.
Yeah.
And you will say what you want to digitalize. They will be like everything.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. And you're like, whoa, okay, good. So how you will get to the grow, how you will find out what they want. You start doing this. You start going through the maths and maths of data, looking for the right data to digitalize, the right data where is the value add, the information we need, the numbers we are looking at, the numbers we are working with, you know, the valuable information. So the first thing you are always doing with them when you start the consultancy, okay, we want to go digital, you start the 5S.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the takt time. So we know all the takt time as the rhythm of the production. It's like when we are working and when the customer wants it, how we will set up, how fast we will be, so we deliver always what he wants when he wants it. But in the case of data, we are talking about when is the best time to run the reports? When is the best time to upload the data? When is the best time to start like measuring the KPIs? Because what is your KPI? In software companies, it will be like how many new customers we have, how many open projects we are running, when we need to deliver another milestones to the projects
availability of the application.
Yeah. So Based on all of that, and of course the customer demand, you need to set up the right time when you want the tasks with your data to be done, when you want to upload the data to the cloud, when you want it to run the reports, when you want to have them available in the visualizations. So basically you're setting up the whole takt time of the data flow to have the right data at the right time for the meetings. So if you have any meetings scheduled on a regular basis and you know that you will need the reports, that's how you will set up when there will be like the reload, the refresh of the data. That's how you will set up in which detail I need to look at. Do I need just the big overview, or I want to go really in the lowest detail possible? So for example, in the production, we would be looking in the whole production, then the different production lines, and then to the cells, even to the operator. The same you can do with the data. Are we looking just overall company KPIs, or are we looking into the departments, or are we looking in the sales people? Are we looking at one person, how he's like fulfilling his KPIs, how many deals he closed, how he's progressing with the ones he has already running, and stuff like this. So even in that, you need to set up your takt time and the speed, how you want the data to be working. Because in some companies, you need the data really like on minute by minute. But some companies, they are okay if it's just like, for example, twice a day in the 12-hour shifts, in the 12-hour rhythm, or in the 24 hours. It's okay, because there is not one solution fits all. It's really about what is your takt time, how fast you need to react to the data changing. And the most important thing is the flow. And here is where we go back to what I said in the beginning, that lean is the end-to-end, because each step of the process should create your value and all the steps should create the flow. So it's again that one small step or one small change in one of the parts of the process can have impact on the whole process, as you can see here, and you can just send the whole thing the wrong direction and it can go all south very easily. So it's the same with the data. You always need to look at, if I change my data or if I start working with them differently, where else are they going afterwards? How I will impact the other reports or the other records and the other tasks which are done, completed with this data. Because if I just stop running one report or I just remove one data flow, I can totally ruin others which are depending on this data. So it's always really important to look at this whole flow of the value, the whole flow of the information. And it's the same with the approval process. Always look at the right people who are the stakeholders and who need to have the say and the approval, because there is nothing worse than to forget one person, approve the whole thing, and then suddenly have to stop it and backflash and go backwards just because you forgot the one important step and the one important stakeholder without whom is the change impossible. Anna?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that you just unmuted yourself, so
No.
have any experience with this one?
No. Okay. Oh, we are back to Kaizen. That's what we are talking about at the beginning.
That's my favorite tool. It's really like, it's hands-on experience for everyone, and it's the easiest way how to get people involved in lean and really fast and easily let them know what is lean and what is it about. So it comes really from the Japanese words which mean change, which is the kai, and zen, which is the good. So you're always changing for good. You know, and typical Kaizen is like 5 days, Monday to Friday.
I was about to ask that. Okay, so it's a full
and
week.
It's really big action where you have a cross-functional team of the SMEs, all hands-on, really ready in the room to make it happen. And they already know what is the current status, what they are working with, and they know what they want to achieve. So Kaizen, compared, for example, to Kata or other improvement project, in Kaizen, you have a clear goal you want to achieve. And it's usually connected to one of your KPIs. So you can measure, you have a standard, you know the gap, and you know what you want to achieve. And what I love about this is that really for that 1 week, everyone is freed from their all other responsibilities. and everyone is really just concentrated on this, and that's why you get so great results, because you have the people there for 40 hours just for this one project.
And who should take part in Kaizen?
So it depends on what you are solving. Of
Okay.
course, always there is the facilitator, which is usually the lean person. So it's the Lean Six Sigma black belt or the master black belt. So they have the facilitation skills, plus they already know all the tools and how the Kaizen should be run and documented. That's another important part, because what you don't document, it didn't happen. And then you have the subject matter experts. So you always need the owner of the process, and then you need the people who are in the process. So the people who are working there, and then all the important people. So in any, it can be the purchasing, it can be the sales, it can be like all the different departments who are in the process. That's why we said end to end should have there one person who will be like representing the department, and will be the guy saying, hey, be careful because this might ruin this. So you really need cross-functional team across various departments, and they are all hands-on there at the same time. And the great thing there is that it always starts with the value stream mapping. So they are going through the current process, just making sure that they know what is happening everywhere. They take the measurements, and then they are looking for the quick improvements. And Kaizen is good because it doesn't need so much investment, because you are always improving only with the things you have already available.
Okay.
That's the big magic. That is like really the hands-on, looking for the tools and the solutions already inside. And that's why it's also so easy to make it instantly, because you don't need to wait for money and approvals,
Something to happen, yeah.
like all the purchase orders and stuff like this. Yeah, so the easiest improvements are the waste reduction. The easiest reduction is elimination. But if you cannot do the elimination, you are looking for over-processing, which means I am working with the data or the information even more than my customer is willing to pay for. Because anything else I am doing on top of what my customer is asking for is just waste, because he's not going to pay for it. Sometimes you have to do it because of the legal actions, the legal requirements, but sometimes you do it just because of your process not being so good. So you have to do it, like downloading macros, but the customer will not pay for it, wasting the potential of the people. Another waste, we already did that. Motion, not only motion of people, but motion of the information. How many times I resend the email, how many times I send the report, how many times someone needs to open the Excel, add something and resend it again. Transportation, moving things from one place to another, not only externally, but also internally within the company. Defects. So now we are talking about the wrong data, the wrong analysis, or the wrong milestones, like changing dates of the milestones in your projects because you didn't count all things and risks in consideration. So you are prolonging the release of something. Inventory, keeping more things than needed. Waiting, how many times you're waiting for the report or for someone to send you the email with the update, another terrible waste because you are ineffective. And overproduction, which means I am making more things faster than my customer wants. So I'm not working just in time, but I'm like preparing and having something in stock just in case something goes wrong. And then I'm creating the inventory, and then I'm over processing, and I'm just cycling in the whole waste process. Yeah, so the continuous improvement in this is like going through the process, looking on what we are doing, what should be done, or what has to be done. So that's the value. When I'm adding value to my product, so I'm adding the value the customer is paying for, or what does not have to be done, and then is the no value added work, and this is what I can reduce, and therefore I can shorten my cycle time, and then I can be leaner, and I can save money. And nowadays everyone wants to save money, because let's say the people are expensive, the time is expensive, electricity is expensive, renting offices or anything is really expensive. So if I can make it in a shorter time, I'm saving a lot of money.
Yeah. And that comes with like you said, like all the ways that is that can be anything like better tools, you know, one tool or integrating the tools. There's quite few ways you can sort it out, right?
Yeah, and if the AI is working when I'm not at work, that's just the win-win, right?
Yeah, I think that AI is great as long as you know how to set it up, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
So
people come to it with expectations, oh, it's gonna save us. It's AI, we'll tell it, but it still does need instructions. So yeah,
yes,
I think
no,
Kaizen
that
would be very good for actually before implementing AI for anything in a company.
yeah. So this the questions down are the questions I always say, like you need to be the annoying 2-year-old and you are asking why. Why
Yeah.
you do this? Why you do it? And what happens if I don't do it? You know, will someone die? Will the process just break? Will I stop the whole production?
Mhm.
Or will it just continue?
Yeah.
So if someone answers, you know, why we do it, and someone will say, because we have been doing it like this for 20 years.
You know, you can kind of, yeah.
That's the first point you will eliminate, because they do it just because of habit.
Just because, yeah.
Yeah, just because we are used to it and we never thought about it, you know. And what happens if I not do it? If they say nothing, like it has no impact, hooray, we are eliminating and we are moving forward, you know. So always, why you do it? And it's not like I'm telling you that you are stupid and you do it wrong. I'm just challenging the status quo.
Yeah, because, you know, people just don't think about it because they are just so, like you said, they are so used to doing it that way. And they never thought, well,
Do it
why or
differently.
what's the purpose of it, you know, or if I do it differently, you know, like
And
or
I call it
sometimes
like
they don't want to challenge the manager, you know, as well, because they're like, okay, they tell me to do this, but
no,
the
and it's
manager
the
never had the
comfortable
time.
blindness, you know. You
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
because if I do it as always, I don't have to think about it, you know, it doesn't hurt. I just do it automatically and you
And
don't
maybe they like to
realize.
run the macros and go and have their breakfast, you know. Well, if someone knows that there is something more efficient in place, then they won't get the time for the breakfast in the office. So
And
yeah.
also, you know, every change for them is a threat. If you don't explain what you mentioned earlier, why they are afraid that with the change, their job will be at risk.
Yeah.
And that's another advantage when you include them in the change and you include them in the application of the new tools. They will get more relaxed because they will see that you are still counting with them in the future.
Yeah. You just want them to do different things or focus
Yeah.
on the things that really matter.
Yeah, and my favorite one as well, quality is made, not controlled. As soon as I need to control something, check something, I am not doing good job in the first place. Because if I do good job with the reports and with the data analysis and any work with data, I don't need to check it. I don't need to rerun it. I don't need second pair of eyes to check my numbers. So it's important to always look for the error proofing, you know, making sure that if I work with the data or any kind of information, I have the 0 defects. I have the right things at the first time, and making a Poka Yoke, which I like translate like idiot proof, which means setting up the process so robust that basically it doesn't allow you to commit a mistake. You need to do it always just the right way. So always look for the quality and always try to make it systematically correct the first time, so no one has to check it and manually alter any information or data you are
Yeah,
adding
and that's
there.
why actually Excel is not a good tool because of how many errors are in Excel. Which is, yeah, if you let anyone to operate a data system way too much, then it's easy for it to happen.
Yeah, the most current errors, you know, someone forgets, or you will just make it like mismatching, or you just mislead it and you like exchange one thing for another. So if you can make it like the easiest way visually and like the data systematically selected so correct that you just cannot make the mistake, that's the best way you can do it.
That's true.
Yeah, so always the wrong training,
One more time.
missing standards, dysfunctional tools like Excel. You cannot say that Excel is a tool for data work and for analytics. It was a tool for mathematic counting and like visualization of the data, but not for like, you know, further work with the data.
Yeah, and I think especially now, again, since a lot of companies are like, yeah, we need AI, we will implement AI. It's quite funny, you know, because they are willing to implement AI, but while they still have Excel, you know, or something. But
And you
okay,
know,
like
you cannot go
before
from
you want
Excel.
AI, actually have a better tool, have a software in place, then the AI can actually help. But putting AI over systems with errors and wrong data is
No,
still
it
going to
will
give you
create
wrong
a mess
output.
as well, and you still
Yeah.
need to do the manual work because you cannot trust it. Anything which comes from Excel, you cannot trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to see means to believe, and you know that people are really visual. People likes to see different graphs and like visualization, and they understand it easier and better. So every time you are like presenting any project, they will ask for the Gantt chart, they will ask for the milestones, they will ask for the flows, they will ask for the graphs of the data. So if you are able to do this in any kind of software or AI or like ERP system, you are winning because you are not wasting hours and hours creating it just for presentation. Because this is like the biggest pain in the world is like make an Excel and then to Snapchat it and put it into the PowerPoint, right? Just for the presentations. But if you are already using some clever tool which is working with your data and your team is working with it on daily basis, they can just simply provide the update and the visualization and the presentation right from the tool. They don't need to spend extra time just creating some graphs because someone asks for them. They can just show them because they are using them and it's really a useful tool for them. It's not just this image made for a presentation.
Yeah. That's true. And it's just saves time again.
And nerves, you know.
And actually, that brings us to the conclusion of our webinar today. Well, thank you, Barbara. That was really insightful. I think it kind of like puts into perspective when does Lean come in? Why is it important? How is it connected to the digital transformation? Why is it important? And why is it important for every industry? Obviously including manufacturing, but not only manufacturing. So thank you for that. For anyone who is still here with us, if you want to get a bit more information on how to win against project complexity, you can head to our website, easyredmind.com, download the free guide there. And before I kind of let you go, I have one little poll for you. So if you could just give us a little feedback on how you enjoyed today's webinar. I hope it was as informational and as insightful for you as it was for me. Thank you for spending the hour here with us today. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. And we wish you to enjoy your bank holiday tomorrow. So thank you. And I hope to see you at another webinar in the near future. And thank you, Barbara, once again.
Bye.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.